Today's been an interesting day. I thought I would talk to you about the difference between having to evacuate somewhere with a guide dog, without a guide dog, and some of the things around that. I left home at 7 this morning and had a meeting all day for an advisory board that I'm on, and went straight from that to the airport and went through the airport security, checked in, did all the other things that I needed to do, and was sitting waiting for my flight, and then the terminal got evacuated. I did bump into a couple of my friends, which are people I've only met on Facebook before. Actually, they're on TikTok too, I think. So managed to bump into, in an evacuation from an airport in Auckland, with Craig and Ocean from Hamilton and their 2 kids. But what I wanted to talk about was how it felt to be evacuated. Now, I haven't actually been in an evacuation other than one at work without Sienna in a long, long time. So the one at work, I know my work really well. I have worked there for 14 years, and I think I pretty much know where every crack in the pavement is almost, and everything to fall over. So I'm quite happy evacuating myself at my work. So I was wearing my hearing aids, and I had them turned up a little bit more than normal, and that was because I was struggling to hear the overhead announcements at the airport. And so when the fire alarm went off, I got my trusty cane out and started to evacuate. But the sheer volume of people was huge. I needed to go down a couple of flights of stairs and an escalator to get out to the front of the terminal. I'd already gone through security, so basically we had to come out of behind security and out the front of the terminal. I was not only having the challenge with only being able to see 5 to 10 degrees, the sheer noise and all of the moving people. And it surprised me that there weren't many airport staff around to actually help. But then I thought about it, so many people out there that they probably just couldn't help everybody. So I was very lucky. I had another person who was on the same plane as me, which I ironically met, trying to evacuate and get down the escalator. And she helped me out through the front doors and back into the terminal and even back onto the plane. I think it's the thing that surprised me the most was just the sheer volume of noise, and the fact that even with my hearing aids, I couldn't hear anything over the noise. So it was the kind of noise that it was. It was lots of people moving, lots of people talking, and lots of people really close together and crowded. I couldn't use my cane effectively because every time I moved it, I hit somebody in front of me with it. And a lot of the people in the crowd weren't actually very spatially aware. And I know that a lot of people would say that's not my problem and it's their problem, but it actually threw my confidence a bit. The other times I've evacuated have been with Sienna. There was one at 2 o'clock in the morning in a hotel in the middle of the night. Someone set the fire alarms off, and there was myself and someone else with a guide dog staying at that hotel, and we got evacuated in our pajamas and bare feet in the middle of the night with both of our dogs. So that was kind of interesting, but I felt much more confident with Sienna next to me and a guide dog next to me than I did with my cane in this situation. It's just another layer of security and another layer of confidence that you get. It was quite disorienting also in the crowd. I didn't know where the doors were. I'm 5'1", and a lot of the crowd were a lot taller than me. So trying to figure out where the doors were was actually hard as well. There was no echolocation or sound. So what it illustrated to me was just how much that somebody who has vision impairment and hearing impairment, how difficult it would be for them to evacuate in such a situation. It's not one that I've come across before, and I hope that others can learn from this video and be a little more prepared than I was. I had just assumed that there will be people to help because there's always a lot of staff to help usually, and I haven't had a problem getting any staff to help in the past. So I hope this is useful to some people, this video, and I will share more about this at some stage.